Today, we are introducing a new notebook computer that we are calling the MacBook Pro.
The first real MacBook came in 2006, but it was still massive, weighing over 5 kilograms and 1 inch thick, but it was made of aluminium. This model was the first to transition to Intel dual-core processors and was available in 13, 15, and 17-inch versions. It had a backlit keyboard, scrolling trackpad, built-in webcam called iSight, and was the first MacBook model to have a MagSafe technology. To replace the 12-inch iBook and PowerBook series, Apple launched in May 2006 the original MacBook, equipped with Intel processors. The MacBook was made of polycarbonate, white or black, and had a 13.3-inch screen and Intel Core Duo processor. In 2008, Apple changed the game and launched a new generation of MacBook, the MacBook Air.
This is the new MacBook Air, and you can get a feel for how thin it is. Yeah, there it is. Look at
this. It was the thinnest notebook in the world, measuring only 0.4 centimeters at its thinnest point and 1.6 centimeters at its thickest. The MacBook had a 13.3-inch screen, backlit LED display, full-size keyboard, and multi-touch trackpad. It was built on a 1.6 GHz or 1.8 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo processor and was the first Apple computer with an optional 64 GB SSD. It was also the first laptop without an integrated optical drive. Also in the same year, Apple launched a new MacBook and MacBook Pro, which came with the aluminium Unibody construction. The MacBook Pro came in 15, 13-inch versions and had 2 switchable video cards, the NVIDIA GeForce 9600M GT with 256 or 512 MB of dedicated memory, and a GeForce 9400M with 256 MB of shared system memory. The processor was more efficient, as well as the RAM memory, but also the storage space was bigger. It also had a slimmer display, a redesigned trackpad, and a redesigned keyboard. The new MacBook, on the other hand, had a 13.3-inch display with a new NVIDIA chipset, LED backlight display, and a new mini display port and a multi-touch glass trackpad. In 2009, Apple launched a 17-inch MacBook Pro model that came with a matte anti-glare screen option and a larger non-removable battery. The third-generation MacBook was also launched in 2009 and had a unibody polycarbonate design, 13.3-inch screen, multi-touch trackpad, LED display, and a built-in battery. The year 2010 came with the new MacBook Air, 13.3 inches and 11.6 inches. The 13.3-inch one came with a high resolution, an improved battery, another USB port, an SD card slot, and stereo speakers. The 11.6-inch variant was cheaper, but came with lower performance than the larger diagonal model. The third-generation MacBook Pro was launched in 2012 and stands out with the new 15.4-inch Retina display. It was thinner than its predecessors, and the SSD was now standard. It also added another Thunderbolt port, an HDMI port, and a new thinner MagSafe port. Performance has been improved running third-generation Intel Core i7 processors, more RAM, and a better video card. In the same year, the 13-inch version was launched. In 2015, Apple launched the thinnest and lightest MacBook ever. It was equipped with a 12-inch Retina display, redesigned butterfly mechanism keyboard, Force Touch keypad, USB-C, and was available in new colors: space gray, silver, and gold. The new MacBook offered up to 10 hours of battery life and was equipped with a 1 GHz dual-core Intel Core M processor, Intel HD graphics, 5300, and 8 GB of RAM. The fourth generation of MacBook Pros came in 2016 in 13 and 15-inch variants. This generation laid the groundwork for what we know the MacBook means today. It comes with new Touch Bar, Touch ID, an advanced Retina display, the second generation of butterfly keyboard, and high-performance hardware. The 15-inch model had a trackpad twice as large as the previous generation, and the 13-inch version did not have a Touch Bar, but had a trackpad 46% larger than its predecessor. In 2017, these models were updated with the new Intel Kaby Lake processors and graphics card.
And they especially love one Mac in particular, one that they take with them everywhere they go and use for everything they do. And that is the MacBook Air.
The year 2018 came with the third generation of MacBook Air. It was equipped for the first time with a 13.3-inch Retina display. Its performance has been improved using the 8th generation Intel Core i5 processor, up to 16 GB of RAM, and up to 1.5 TB of SSD. It also offered up to 12 hours of battery life, had 50% thinner screen edges, 20% larger Touch ID and trackpad. In 2019, Apple launched a new 16-inch MacBook Pro, which replaces the previous generation 15-inch model. Unlike its predecessor, the new MacBook comes with a thinner frame and a larger Retina display, with a resolution of 3072 by 1020 pixels. In 2020, Apple launched the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro, which made the transition from Intel chips to M1 chips developed by Apple. The M1 promised to be much faster and more efficient than previous Intel chips, as it integrates several different components including CPU, GPU, unified memory architecture, and more. So, the new 13-inch MacBook Air came equipped with the Apple M1 on the ARM architecture, which offered a CPU 3.5 times faster, the integrated graphics card 5 times faster, and the machine learning part is 9 times faster. The MacBook Pro with the M1 had a 13-inch screen and was more powerful than the previous generation. Thanks to the active cooling for the Apple processor, the MacBook Pro could achieve a performance almost 3 times higher on the CPU side and 5 times higher on the GPU compared to the previous model. However, the MacBook Pro came with less storage space on the SSD, only 256 GB, but offered twice the battery life than the previous generation, up to 20 hours. In 2021, Apple launched a new generation of 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro equipped with Apple M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. The M1 Pro is made on 5 nanometers with 10 cores and is 70% faster than the M1 with 16 cores for graphics processing. M1 Max instead has a double bandwidth compared to M1 Pro and 32 GB graphics core. At the same time, the M1 Max supports 64 GB of RAM, while the standard version of the M1 was limited to 15 GB. In addition, the new MacBook Pro comes with more generous connectivity, an HDMI port, an SD card reader, and 2 Thunderbolt ports, and the touch bar has been replaced with function keys. At the same time, Apple has reintroduced the classic MagSafe, and in terms of autonomy, the 14-inch MacBook Pro promises up to 17 hours of autonomy, and the value increases up to 21 hours in the case of 16-inch MacBook Pro. Moreover, Apple has introduced notch on the screen like the ones on the iPhone, where we find a full HD camera this time. In 2022, Apple launched the latest generation of 13-inch MacBook Pro and Air. They are equipped with the latest chipset, Apple M2. The new Apple processor remains on the 5nm architecture, but compared to the M1, it is 18% faster and the GPU is 35% faster. So, the MacBook Air gets a new design, with notch, 2 Thunderbolt ports, a jack, and a MagSafe port. It has 13.6 inches and thinner edges, 25% higher brightness, full HD camera with center stage and image processor. The keyboard now has normal-sized square buttons at the top and retains the Touch ID fingerprint sensor. As for the battery, Apple claims that it offers up to 18 hours of video playback. The 13-inch MacBook Pro keeps the same design we already know. It has no notch and the edges are thicker. Apple has brought back the touch bar, the trackpad is generous in size with Force Touch, the keyboard is illuminated, and for extra security, we also have a Touch ID sensor. As I said, the MacBook Pro is also equipped with an Apple M2 CPU, produced in 2 variants, 8-core or 10-core. It also offers 8GB to 24GB of RAM and 256GB to 2TB of storage. As for battery, Apple says that the new MacBook Pro offers up to 20 hours of video playback. This was the evolution of the famous Apple MacBook series. Tell us in the comments what you think about the MacBook and especially about the new M processors.